What do you believe homeowners are looking for when choosing a licensed contractor?
Quality and honesty.
You don't think they care about the price?
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for, so you hire a cheaper plumber, and I fixed a lot of cheaper plumbers' work, and you end up paying more in the end. So if you just hire, that's what HomeStars is about. They're reputable contractors, so you kind of beat out that searching and hoping you're gonna have a good plumber. And HomeStars weans those people out, right?
Right. Okay, so tell me how you differentiate yourself from other contractors or plumbers.
Well, I take pride in my work. I'm still interested in the trade, so when you're interested in something, you always take pride in your work. And I always give the customer satisfaction guarantee. If they're unhappy with the work, it gets fixed free of charge. And I give them a warranty.
Do you think seasonality impacts your business? And how do you prepare for that?
It does, but plumbing is vast, so you can do service work. Wintertime, you get a lot of calls for frozen pipes, broken pipes. I've done a lot of custom homes in the winter. For some reason, people like to build in the winter. And of course, the summertime, there's also a lot of work, so there's work year round for plumbers.
Got it. How far in advance do you book jobs out?
How far in advance? It could be a year in advance. It could be a month in advance. It varies.
But now you're talking about installs, new systems, right? Because that's what you do.
Custom home. So if somebody calls me up and wants a quote for plumbing in their house that they're not ready to build yet, they can email me PDF, a drawing, architectural drawing of the house, and I can look over it and give them a ballpark quote. So yeah, I can book. It varies: a year in advance, a month, 2 months, 6 months.
And that's for new systems. What do you think, like service plumbers and stuff? I know you don't do that as much.
Service plumbers is emergency, so you would have to get there within a day, at least 2 days maximum, depending on the emergency.
Do you get referrals from clients? How many would you say you tend to get?
Probably every client I've worked for has referred me to another client.
So that kind of answers my next question, which is how often. You'd say pretty much every client has given you a referral.
Pretty much. When you do good work, your clients will definitely refer you to family members, friends. And HomeStars is good for that because they can see reviews on your profile, right? So
you think, like, even if you go to somebody's house and they refer their brother or sister, cousin, aunt, whatever you may, it's still important for you to have reviews and stuff because you think they're still looking you up regardless if somebody told them you're good.
Yes. So say a homeowner from HomeStars was searching for a plumber and they found me and I did work at their house and they left me a great review and they referred me to a family member. That family member can check my profile and the review and believe it even more, right?
How long on average does it take you to complete a project? So you can talk about like what you do, which is basically new systems and installs, and then service jobs. What do you like say roughly how long?
Service jobs are, in and out. You're in and out within 4 or 5 hours depending on what it is. Custom homes, it takes a while because they have to frame the house. You got to do the rough and plumbing, right? And then they have to drywall, they have to tile, then you come do the finished plumbing, right? So a couple months to do a new custom home. Service calls can take an hour, 8 hours.
Unless you uncover something massive in the
Right.
service call.
Yeah.
So how many jobs would you typically take on in a week? I think for you it's a little bit different than service.
Depending on the jobs. It depends on the jobs.
Would you do multiple
Right?
jobs
So
in a
I can
week?
have one job for the whole week. I can have emergency calls within that week and go do them in the evening and overnight. So it depends on how in demand you are, right?
What are the average margins you anticipate on the closed jobs? Like, so, after material and some of the bigger jobs you hire labor to come with you too. How much do you expect to like take home? Like, what's a good take home margin?
Minimum is $100 an hour on a private job, right? Working for myself. So if I'm not making $100 an hour, I can make $200 an hour. But the average and minimum I would take would be $100 an hour.
Like a total job, like when you do a custom house, like after materials and stuff, what do you think your take home is? 15%, 20%?
I'd say around 35%.
That's because you're expensive, but like the average plumber, 15 to 20%.
Sure.
What recommendations would you have for other like people joining HomeStars, given your experience on it?
Not to be afraid. It is an
Investment.
investment. It also is a big fee annually, right? So to take that leap and not knowing if HomeStars is going to come through or not, you could lose money. But the company has grown over the past. How long has HomeStars been around? Over 10 years, almost 10 years.
No, longer than 10 years.
It's grown over 10 years and it's pretty reputable right now. So I would say not to be afraid of the annual fee and have faith in the company, and they will send you jobs. Like, I was afraid to sign up, right? I didn't know if I was gonna make that money annually,
If you were going to get the return.
right? And return on my investment and profit off of it, right? But I did. I had one job that paid for 2 years of HomeStars. So all the rest of the jobs after that were profit,
Gravy.
right? So I recommend to not be afraid and
Take a leap of faith.
take a leap of faith and grab the bull by the horns.
Right. But that meant you did work in order to close those jobs. Yeah. Like, you didn't expect that just being on HomeStars was going to get you to close those jobs. So it's not being afraid, and it's also putting in work on your profile, which you did. You asked everybody that you worked for reviews. Like, you made that a part of your...
Yes, that's what it's based on. It's based on reviews. So you have to get a review, right? You have to bring your score rating up and be up there in the 98 to 100%.
Nobody has 100, by the way. It's 99 is the highest.
99, 98, whatever, right? Strive for 100. But yeah,
That's how you stay competitive.
stay competitive, and if you do good work, it speaks for itself. So
Right, but you have to close the job. Like, so what did you do in terms of like custom, like when you would get the lead, you
I
answered it?
basically say, "Hello, my name is Stefano. I'm a licensed plumber, and I'd like to help you out with your project. Feel free to, contact me, and I can give you a quote. We can talk over the job, and I can give you a price, and we can go from there."
And like, did you leave them unread for like a long time, or you answered them
No,
quick?
I answered them right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta answer them, because if you don't answer them right away, some other plumber is gonna answer it, and he's gonna get your job. So you have to be the first to answer those
You have to be
referrals, right?
quick to answer and be professional and
Yeah.
make yourself available to like talk through whatever they want to
Yes.
talk through.
Yeah, be easygoing and make the customer feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I got all my jobs.
How have reviews and word of mouth impacted your business?
Substantially, it's word of mouth, but it's hard to find a good tradesman. So once you do find a good tradesman, you like to hold on to that number in your wallet. You know what I mean? So it helps out huge.
It helps the trust.
Yes, the reliability, the honesty. Right? You're not going to take people for a ride. Right? If you do quality work and you know what you're worth, no matter what, you're going to get paid because you know you take pride in your work and it's quality. Right? It's hard to find somebody quality and trustworthy and honestly priced, right?
Yeah. This isn't on there, but I'm just going to ask it because I think it's good for like everybody to know. Like, what do you think people who work at HomeStars, like the salespeople, even people like on my team, like the account managers, like what do they need to know about plumbers? I think one thing is that you already kind of said it, is that it's vast. There's so much to plumbing, right? And like all the different things you could do. But like, what else do you think that they should know, or is like good insight for them in terms of the industry or like anything? Or licensed contractors in general, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, because you know lots of people in licensed trades.
For the sales point of view,
Yeah, like for sales and account managers, like what do you think is like good information for them to know about licensed contractors?
I don't know, basically you're going to get a job well done because you're hiring a licensed professional who's reputable and who has built up a profile of reviews, right? Like, you have to have some sort of portfolio for people to look at and trust you to do the job at their house.
I think like a couple things that I'm thinking that you're like not saying. I think one thing is that like plumbing and electrical and all that, it's vast. Like there's some people who only do service, or some people who only do new systems, and I think that's important for our teams to find out that information, like the type of work.
Which they do.
You found that they did that when you
they
said?
ask you, you put there's a list of jobs
Tasks,
tasks that you do, and there's a list that you don't do. Right? Service, I put it out.
Right.
I don't have service equipment. If you're a service plumber and you have service equipment, and you only do service.
So it's very important for them to go over that task list
for sure, yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think...
Septics and well systems is a totally different license, right? A plumber can install a well, and a plumber can't install a septic tank. You need to be a licensed technician to do these jobs, right? So you're not going to put that under your belt of work that you're going to do.
Unless you have that.
Unless you have a well ticket. You're a technician to install wells and septic tanks.
I think a lot of people also don't realize that some plumbers get their gas tickets too. So like that's a good thing to look into, is if they have that and do that too, because we have that as a separate thing. And
plumbers have many different tickets.
Yeah, so it's important to ask them what other types of stuff they do.
Licenses.
Yeah.
When we say tickets, we mean licenses.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing is like, I noticed, like just from like my experience, like with you and like a lot of other people in our lives who are licensed, most of them, a lot of people, like even the people who we know who have been on HomeStars, have a 9-to-5, and they were doing this as a side job. So I think that's another important thing for like the teams to realize and understand, like in terms of like their business model, right? Like, are they doing this as a side thing, or is like this their number one bread and butter?
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, people start doing this side business thing to eventually go out on their own, right?
Right.
And they use platforms like HomeStars to build clientele and quit their 9-to-5 and open up their own company and work for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So that's what HomeStars is for me, that's what HomeStars was for,
Right.
right? So if you can keep getting jobs and keep getting reviews, that you have enough work to schedule a year full, then you can quit your 9 to 5 and open up your own business and be successful.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.